Hey everybody, you can see down there the title says it best. This is my top 5 Transformers G1 episodes, and I might include a mini-series here and there as one, because technically a mini-series is like one episode if you think about it. But these are my top 5, and it's not easy to look at a top 5 and why you consider it a top 5, but I'm going to try my best with it. Number 5, no doubt to me, to start off, is Search for Alpha Trion. And the reason I say this is because it did some. First of all, it was one of those rare Transformer episodes that was written by a woman. No offense to any women there, but it was written by a female writer. And to me, she did a decent job in introducing us to an expansion of the Autobot, to the other gender, I should say, of the Autobots, basically the female Autobots, which also was a precursor, if you will, to the fact that we got RC in the movie and then in the third and fourth season. And also, to me, was a precursor to all the other female Transformers that would come later on in other generations, in other incarnations and shows. So to me, I thought it was really good. I like the fact that they gave Elita 1 a special power, so that was kind of cool. Well, and everything. And I like how they kind of name it. It's like Elita 1, kind of like Optimus Prime. So it's basically the female version of, being Elita 1. She's Optimus Prime. She's basically the Optimus Prime of the female Autobots. And to me, like I said, it was really a precursor. Now, I know some people might say there's another episode that was sort of like that, and I'll get into that in the honorable mentions. But to me, Search for Alpha Trion, it's at number 5 because of its historic significance, no doubt about that. Because of the fact that we're introduced to the female Autobots, and it, along with the honorable mention that's coming up, basically to me was the precursor to female Autobots being present in the Transformers continuity. Now, the other episode that I have to go with at number 4 this is and like I said, it's tough to figure out what would be number 4, but to me, I think number 4 has to go to Only Human. Yeah, Only Human. Because it may have not seemed like it, but to me, number 4, Only Human, to me, was the closest at the time, and even up till now, through the animated series, that we were ever going to get a crossover between G.I. Joe and the Transformers. It was the only time we were closest to that. Due to the fact that you had the Autobots, basically you had the minds transferred into basically these blobs of goo that slowly evolved and took shape into those of humans. And I like how they basically have, I guess you could say they're able to get some color-coordinated clothing to match who they represent. And I like how the facial designs kind of help represent who they are, and even the hairstyles. So that's pretty cool. I like how they make Magnus the older guy, So, and they give RC blonde hair, human forms. It's really, to me, I think it's very interesting. I thought it was really a unique take. And again, like I said, it's the closest we will ever get to a crossover between both G1 Transformers and G.I. Joe when it came to the cartoon series. I know we had crossovers in the comics even up to this day. In fact, I have some of those crossover comics myself by IWD. I mean by IDW, I should say, not IWD. What am I talking about? IDW. So I have some of those, but to me, honestly, this has to be number 4 because of its unique teasing, basically its uniqueness in teasing at the fact and kind of giving us a taste of what we could have had. And then to top it all off, you see who this Hiss character is, and you're like, and if you're watching this for the first time like I was as a kid, you've seen who Hiss is, you're like, holy smokes, that's Cobra Commander, you know? And then you hear him shouting Cobra at the end, and it's like, yeah, that's Cobra Commander. So again, to me, it was a great acknowledgement to G.I. Joe. It was a great teaser as being the closest we'd ever get to a crossover between the two shows. So I really, really liked that. I really, really enjoyed it. Number 3. Number 3 to me, it was just at the tip of my tongue. I just had it. Number 3 to me, and again, I just had it at the tip of my tongue. Just had it at the tip of my tongue. Number 3, wow. What was number 3? I mean, again, oh yeah, number 3, Ghost in the Machine. That's what it is, Ghost in the Machine. I guess you could probably rank it up there at what. I guess in a way you could say we kind of have a tie here because you can't talk about Ghost in the Machine unless you talk about its prequel, its predecessor, if you will, its predecessor, if you will, and that is Starscream's Ghost. And to me, these were two of the best so far in the third season because, you know, to me it's like. It was you look at what happened to Starscream in the movie, and you're thinking, okay, he's gone for good, right? I have to give the writers, the staff on the show, a lot of credit because they decided, you know what, he wasn't reconfigured or remodified into somebody else like the Insecticons and Skywarp and Thundercracker were. So you think to yourself, what could we do? So they probably thought to themselves, what could we do to kind of, you know, not just have Starscream go away because they knew, the writers knew, the fans who watched the movie or who eventually would watch the movie knew who Cyclonus' clone was. They knew who Scourge was. They knew who Cyclonus and the Sweeps were. So you say to yourself, okay, they know who they are. They know who they were modified after. But what do we do about Starscream? How do we keep his existence somewhat in the show? And again, I got to give credit to whoever came up with this, but they decided, you know what? Let's make him a ghost. Let's make it to where that instead of, you know, probably just being gone or whatever, that because he wasn't, you know, like I say, reconfigured or modified like the others were, that instead after he gets destroyed, his ghost is trapped within, and that it takes a rogue Decepticon, if you will, to basically free his spirit, because all the Decepticons in the crypt basically have all the statues except for Starscream. You know, all he has is legs, and that's it. All you have is his feet left, and that's it. And like I said, I like how they came up with the concept of taking a rogue Decepticon, in this case Octane, and having him be the one that frees Starscream's ghost. And basically, I love the concept as well, is that they take a traditional old school concept of having, because he's a ghost, being able to possess other people. I like that. I really like that. I really like that. And then I love how they continue that on late in the next episode. I mean, you take a look at the end where he finally reveals himself. He's inside Cyclonus, and he reveals himself to Galvatron, and he's able to jump out of the way before Galvatron, just as Galvatron blasts Cyclonus. And I like how it kind of gives you that hint that and I like how it gives you that fact that his story is going to continue on because now he's inside Scourge. And of course that leads us into Ghost in the Machine, which of course again is a good episode because you find out that Starscream is willing, or at least it seems that way. Is willing to do whatever it takes to get his body back, even reactivate Unicron, steal the eyes of both Trypticon and Metroplex, and even go as far as to try to connect Unicron's head to Cybertron, which of course after Starscream can't do it, even after he's possessed Trypticon because some circuitry was damaged on the inside. Even after he's restored, I like how they keep him being that kind. I like how they make him still. I mean, I just like how they have him get his comeuppance because after he's restored, he doesn't even follow through on his word. He just says, "Hey, you want to be connected? You do it yourself." And to me, I thought it was a great. To me, these two episodes really, to me, stand out as just great episodes, and at least it shows that even though he was destroyed by Galvatron, that no matter what happens, he's still around, basically. Like, even after he's restored, he gets killed again. His body gets destroyed again. And thus he has to travel again as a ghost, as a spirit. And I like how they also continue that on, if you will, into Beast Wars. Yeah, they continue it on into Beast Wars, of all things. And they have him possess Waspinator. So I think that's really, really cool. And to me, that's why Ghost in the Machine and Starscream's Ghost both rank up at number 3. At number 2, Dark Awakening. Yeah, another season 3 episode. I know that sounds crazy. But to me, Dark Awakening, I thought was just a tremendous episode because, to me, it kind of gave you an idea that Hasbro and the people in charge, Marvel, Sunbow, they all acknowledged the fact that fans were not happy at the fact that Optimus Prime was, killed off in the movie. 25 minutes into the movie, they were not happy. So I love how they kind of give you the idea that he's coming back, that he's being brought back. And I love how they do it, first of all, with Dark Awakening. I mean, the story's just great. You can kind of tell right there in just that one episode that Rodimus is eager to get rid of the Matrix. He's like, I don't want to be it's like he's got the Matrix in his hand. It's like, hey, Optimus is alive now. I'm going to give it back to him. I want to go back to being Hot Rod. So, I just love that. And I love in the end, Hot Rod realizes, Prime's not really himself. Something's not right. And that he needs to take the Matrix back. He needs to be the leader again. So overall, the tone for the story, terrifically done. And of course, that leads us into our number one. My number one episode out of my top 5 of all time, Return of Optimus Prime. I mean, you want to talk about a two-parter, which was really good. This was definitely a great setup to bring Prime back. I love it. I love the fact that, I love the fact that it sort of continue. I love the fact that it sort of continues almost immediately after Dark Awakening. I love how that happens and stuff. So, again, I love how it continues right after Dark Awakening, in a sense. And it really shows you, and it shows you how far